Okay, now it's on. I think it's on. 안녕하세요, 여러분. 들려요? 제 말 들려요? 여러분 안녕하세요. Can you guys hear me? 여러분 안녕하세요. Please say hi if you can hear me. 안녕하세요, 여러분. 잘 들려요? 아, 오케이, 좋아요. 잘 들려서 다행이에요, 여러분. Hi guys, thank you so much for joining the class. Can you guys see the screen? Can you guys see the screen? Okay, you guys can hear me. Okay. Oh, I see a lot of familiar usernames. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Thank you. Okay, so I think we can move straight to, class. Without further introduction, without further ado, let's just start right into it. So have you guys took the quiz already? If you haven't, you can take the quiz through the link in the description box, or you can just follow me in this class. So starting from number 1, guys, it's been 3 months since I started learning Korean, and actually a lot of you guys got it confused with 배우든지, which is like the recent grammar that we learn, right? But this is another grammar. That means it has been some time since. Can you guys see the PDF file? Oh, you guys can. I'm seeing on the screen right now. Okay. So, sorry guys, before we start, I would like to stress that this specific lesson is for learners who are in between high beginner to intermediate. So if you are like just starting to learn Korean, or if you are at like a lower beginner level, then this class might be a bit difficult to follow. So I recommend people who are between high beginners to intermediate take this class so that you can follow it easier. Okay, so let's let's move right on to our first grammar. Verb. Oh, let me use the blue pen. So if you say verb, 니은 받침 or this is the suffix that's used, and then you space it, and then you put 치, time이 됐다. It literally means to become time since I started this verb. So it's used when you want to say like it's been like 3 months since I started learning Korean. It's been a year since I lived in Korea, things like that. So this 치 indicates that this verb is the start of the action. So since the point of this, the point when the action verb has started. So you can kind of consider it like this. So this is now, and this is when the verb started. So this expression is used to tell how many like days, years, month, weeks it's been since you started some action till now. So for example, you can say, so those of you who have already learned verb modifier, guys, verb modifier, you can see that this is the past form, the verb modifier's past form, right? Since the action already started, you can mark it with the past tense. So for example, if you say 지수가 한국에 온 지 3년이 됐어요. 지수가 한국에 오다, right? 오다 is a verb that means to come, right? To come. And you mark it with 니은 받침 and then 치 to mean since she first came to Korea, right? 지수가 한국에 온 지, since she first came to Korea, 3년, 3 years, it has become. 3년이 됐어요. Or you can just omit this E, guys. Omit E, the subject marker here. It doesn't matter with or without it. Both make sense. 3년이 됐어요. It has been 3 years since Jisoo came to Korea. And the next one is, so it's not that difficult, guys, right? Not that difficult, but it could be kind of confusing if you compare it with the 는지 indirect question marker that we learned. It has a different grammar rule, guys, different grammar rule. So moving on to the next example sentence. 그 영화를 마지막으로 본 지 한 달이 넘었어요. 아, 이스라 씨, 저는 한국어를 공부한 지 6달이 됐어요. 이스라 씨, you have been learning Korean for 6 months, right? Very fast application. 잘했어요. That was a perfect sentence. And 그 영화를 마지막으로 본 지, 여러분 마지막으로 뜻 알아요? 마지막. 잠깐만요. Let me make it bigger so that it's more visible to you guys. 그 영화를 that movie 마지막으로 본 지 last time, right? 마지막 means last and 마지막으로 is like for the last time. So 그 영화를 마지막으로 보다 verb plus 니은 받침 지. So 영화를 보다 means to watch a movie, right? To watch a movie. So since I saw that movie for the last time. So since I last saw that movie, 그 영화를 마지막으로 본 지 한 달, 1 month, right? 한 달이 넘었어요. So we learned that the verb 됐어요 is used to mean to have been, but you can also use 넘다 verb. Do you guys know 넘다? 넘다 means to go over. So 한 달이 넘었어요 means it's been over a month. 한 달이 넘었어요. So it's been over a month since I last watched that movie. 그 영화를 마지막으로 본 지 한 달이 넘었어요. Okay, 그 다음에 지수 씨, she's not speaking English at all. I'm not speaking English at all. What language am I speaking? 그 다음에 it means you don't understand, right? It's okay. 잠깐만요. Okay, so I'm gonna stress once again. This lesson is for learners between high beginners to intermediate level. So if you find it like a bit hard to follow, then I recommend you watch basic level lessons first to follow this class better. Okay. 그 다음에 next one. 지수를 안 지 1년이 됐어요. So 알다 알죠 여러분. 알다. To know, right? To word. To know. And when 알다 is combined with 니은 받침 or 은, since 알다 is an irregular verb that has 리을 as a 받침, you don't say 알은, right? 알은. You say 안. So basically 리을 gets deleted and instead 니은 replaces 리을's place. So it becomes 안. So 지수를 안지 would mean since I started knowing 지수. Since I've known 지수 1년이 됐어요. It's been a year. 한식 먹은 지 3달 넘었어요. 오, 칼라미티아 씨. 한국 음식 진짜 먹고 싶겠어요. You must be craving Korean food a lot then. Maybe you can visit a nearby Koreatown. Like the food in even if it's Koreatown, usually the food in a foreign country, Korean food in a foreign country, is different from the authentic cuisine in that country, right? Not just for Korean food, but I think for lots of food in another country. But I'm still I'm hoping it would be able to replace the real cuisine. And 한국에 산지 5년이 넘었어요. 한국에 살다 to live, right? To live. And then this is also 리을 ending verb, so it becomes 산. 한국에 산지 5년이 넘었어요. It's been over 5 years since I lived in Korea. 한국에 산지 5년이 넘었어요. If that's the case, your Korean might be really good. 그 다음에 this one gets a little more tricky, guys. A little more tricky. But if you are advanced enough, then you already know this grammar. 한국에 산지 2달밖에 안 됐어요. 한국에 산지 2달밖에 안 됐어요. 여러분, 요 밖에 안 되다, 밖에 안 되다 혹시 알아요? 밖에 안 되다, 밖에 안 되다. 나온 밖에 안 되다. 나온 밖에 안 되다. 잠깐만요. Maybe my microphone is a little loose. Okay. 나온 밖에 and then plus negative verb. It means only now. 나온 밖에 안 되다. So if you say like, I only have a pen, I only have a pen, I only have a pen, you can say 저는 펜 밖에 I only have 없어요. So you're supposed to use a negative verb when you're using 밖에 to mean only or just. Like Paula, she said, 밖에 in this case, wouldn't we be like just something? Yes, that is true. So only noun. So if you say 저는 펜밖에 없어요, it's like I only have a pen. So if you say like 숙제를 1시간밖에 안 했어요. 1시간밖에 안 했어요. Can you try guessing what this would mean, guys? 숙제를 1시간밖에 안 했어요. 1시간밖에 안 했어요. 1시간 means an hour, right? And a negative verb is used. 안 했어요. I did not do. But this doesn't mean I did not do. It's just how it's grammatically used. When you're using 밖에 to mean only the negative verb is used, right? So it means I did homework. I did homework doesn't mean I didn't do homework, but only, right? Only for an hour. I did homework only an hour. Only an hour. 그 다음에 한국어 조금밖에 못해요. 오, 토킨씨, perfect sentence. But your Korean is good, though. 그 다음에 흰알리씨, 2시간밖에 안 걸려요. 오케이. 그리고 파울라씨, 맞아요. 너밖에 없어요. I only have you. 너밖에 없어. Or like, you're the best. Kind of like that. 너밖에 없어. 오케이. 이런 식으로 쉬어요, 여러분. 밖에, noun, 밖에, negative verb. It doesn't mean you didn't do it. It's just used to emphasize it's only that noun, or it's only been that time. So I think because we learned that, you can guess what this sentence would mean. 한국에 산지 2달밖에 안 됐어요. 뭐야, 이거 말고. 두 달밖에 안 됐어요. 한국에 산지 2달밖에 안 됐어요. Can we just use 만? 네네, 만만 써도 괜찮아요. Using 만 is okay. But sometimes using 밖에 sounds more natural, like in this case. When you want to say it's only been that time, it's much more natural to use 밖에 than 만. The difference between 밖에 and 만 would be that using 만, positive verb has to follow, right? Positive verb. So if you want to say, so moving back to the blank note, guys. If you want to say, I only have a pen in a different way, you can say, 저는 펜만 있어요. I'm sorry, the handwriting is not really organized. The note is not really organized, but I hope you are following well. 저는 펜만 있어요. 저는 펜만 있어요. 만 and then positive verb. This would mean I have only a pen. But if you want to use 밖에, the following verb has to be a negative verb. But it doesn't mean negative, right? It means to have, but just grammatically you have to put a negative verb. So 저는 펜밖에 없어요. 저는 펜만 있어요 would be the same thing. So if you say, coming back to 한국에 산지 2달밖에 안 됐어요. Oh, you guys are already giving me translation. It's only been 2 months living in Korea. Yes, 맞아요. It's only been 2 months since I started living in Korea, right? 2달 밖에 안 됐어요. 안 됐어요. You have to negate 되다. 되다. Because 밖에 follows that grammar. Where a negative verb follows. 잘했어요. 잘했어요. 한국어를 배운 지 6개월밖에 안 됐어요, 힌디님. 맞아요, 맞아요. 그렇게 쓰면 되고요. 맞아요. 힌디씨 아주 잘했어요. 힌달리씨. 그 다음에 let's move on to a bit more complex sentence, but not that hard. 한국어를 배운 지 몇 달밖에 안 돼서 actually 안 돼서 this has to be spaced. Sorry guys. I didn't put the space here. 안 돼서 아직 잘 못해요. 한국어를 배운 지 몇 달밖에 안 돼서 So I think till here, from here to here, it's not that difficult to translate, right? 아직 한국어를 배운 지 since I started learning Korean, 배우다 plus T, right? 배우다 plus T. 한국어를 배운 지 since I started learning Korean, 몇 달밖에 안 돼서 it's been only 몇 달. 몇 달 means a few months. A few months. 타가사 씨, I've only been learning Korean for a few months, so I don't know. 맞아요, 잘했어요. So 한국어를 배운 지 몇 달밖에 안 돼서 it's only been a few months since I started learning Korean. So this 몇 means how many. I think I have a video explaining like many meanings of 몇, and I will make sure to link it in the description box. And this 몇 can mean like, first it means how many. So it's basically a question word. First and foremost, it's a question word. But it can also mean a few. A few. So since 몇 is an adjective, it has to be followed by a noun. So if you say 몇 개, K is a counter word for counting items, right? 몇 개 would mean how many things. Or it could also be a few things, right? A few things. So if you say 몇 개월, or 몇 달, this would mean how many months, first of all, or it could mean a few months. So 몇 달밖에 안 돼서 it's only been a few months. 아직 잘 못해요. I'm not that good. 아직 잘 못해요. I'm not that good. Okay, 잘했어요. Thank you so much, guys, for the encouragement in the comment section. Thank you, guys. Thank you. It relieves my nervousness. Thank you. 그 다음에 okay, so that's 은지 time 됐다. That's how you can say it's been some time since I started verb, right? So if you have tried the quiz, guys, number 12 was transcribing and translation quiz, right? So 받아쓰기, guys. 받아쓰기 means to transcribe. Transcribe what you hear. 받아쓰고 번역하세요. 번역 means translation. So I know that a lot of you have already took this quiz, but let's try listening again. Right? And you can, if you haven't taken the quiz, you can probably like try transcribing here in the chat section. Okay, so let's play number 12.
지수 씨가
actually, can you guys hear? Did you guys just hear the audio sound? I'm checking if the settings all right. Were you guys able to hear it? Oh, okay. So I can continue now. Okay. So I'll continue.
한국에 온 지
No. It has to be repeated once again.
알아요?
Sorry, I cannot go back to the beginning. So I'll replay it. Sorry guys. Ignore this. Okay, let's start again. Sorry, let's start again. Starting now.
지수 씨가 한국에 온 지 몇 년 됐는지 알아요? 지수 씨가 한국에 온 지 몇 년 됐는지 알아요?
Were you able to hear what's said? 지수 씨가, let me replay one more time. No. Play, okay.
지수 씨가 한국에 온 지 몇 년 됐는지 알아요? 지수 씨가 한국에 온 지 몇 년 됐는지 알아요?
지수 씨가 한국에 온니? Yes, yes. I see some of the correct answers in the chat section. 몇 년 됐는지 알아요? 알아요? 잘했어요. 지수 씨가 한국에 온 지 몇 년 됐는지 알아요? Maybe this part was a bit difficult to get. This part. Because due to consonant translation, this is pronounced 됐는지, right? 됐는지. 됐는지. So this is actually past conjugated tense. So, are you guys able to recognize the difference between this 지 and the second 지? This we learned in our most recent grammar class, right? Indirect question. So this is an indirect question marker. You're marking the question that you're indirectly asking, not directly asking, right? The question that's embedded in a sentence, right? So it means, do you know? Do you know? And the question, the content of the question is 몇 년 됐는지, 몇 년 됐는지, right? 몇 년 됐는지. How many? 몇 년? Years. Years. Since this is an indirect question, this is a question word, guys. Question word, not a few, but it means how many. So 몇 년 means how many years. It has been, right? 몇 년 됐는지. And this 지 is since, right? Marking what you started, how long it's been since you started the action, right? So since she came, 오다, right? 오다 plus 니은지, came to Korea. 지수 came to Korea. So, do you know how many years it's been since Jisoo came to Korea is the correct translation of the sentence. And actually, many of you got it right. Many of you got it right. Do you know how many years it's been since Jisoo came to Korea? 옹월씨 잘했고요. 옹월씨 잘했고, 그 다음에 I asked you guys to like transcribe the audio, but only a few of you did. It's okay. It's okay. But I want to show you guys the model answer. There's a slight typo here. 여기 있다. 지수가 한국에 온 지 몇 년 됐는지 알아요. 재성 씨 잘했고요. 한국에 온 지. The only like typo would be like, it's not very like important, guys. I'm not trying to be like a grammar police here, but this 온지 has to be spaced. And this 됐는지 doesn't have to be spaced. This is like one of the spacing rules that confuse even the native speakers a lot. Like, it really confuses the hell out of me. But like it's not like very seriously important that you get all the spacing correct, because like you're learners. And one more. 오엔씨도 지수씨가 한국에 온 지 몇 년 됐는지 알아요. 잘했어요. Okay. 그래서 Trisha 씨, you didn't get it. Please once again. Okay. We can play one more time. You can play one more time. Just you can like check.
지수 씨가 한국에 온 지 몇 년 됐는지 알아요? 지수 씨가 한국에 온 지 몇 년 됐는지 알아요?
몇 년 됐는지 알아요? So that was the audio. That was the content of the audio. And now let's move on to question number 2. Question number 2. So I regret going to Jisoo's birthday party. 지수의 생일 파티에 so the correct answer is 괜히 갔어요. So 후회, guys. 후회 was a trap. I know that many of you guys know this word, 후회, for like noun that means regret, but you cannot say 후회 갔어요. So 후회 is not the answer, but many of you chose this answer. But the correct answer is 괜히 갔어요. 괜히. So 괜히, let's learn more about 괜히, the adverb 괜히. 잠깐만요. Blank note. Oh, no. 지우개. So it's really not that difficult to get this 괜히. So actually in this quiz there were many expressions of regret. There are many ways to express regret, and the first among them is 괜히. So 괜히 is an adverb, and you can use it before a verb that you did but you regret. That you did in the past but you regret. So if you say 괜히 했어, it would mean I regret doing it, right? Since 하다, it's 했어 is 하다's present tense, to do. So I regret doing it. 괜히 했어. 괜히 했어. 괜히 했어. 괜히 왔어. 괜히 왔어. 오다 means to come, right? 왔다 is comes past tense. 괜히 왔어. I shouldn't have come. Like I regret coming. 괜히 왔어. 괜히 왔어. It's too hot here. Like it's not even fun. 괜히 왔어. 이런 식으로 말을 해요. 그리고 괜히 말했어. 괜히 말했어. 말하다 means to tell, to say, to speak, right? 괜히 말했어. I shouldn't have said that. Or I shouldn't have told him or her. 괜히 말했어. 괜히 말했어. 그 다음에 이거 괜히 샀어. 이거 괜히 샀어. 괜히 샀어. I shouldn't have bought, like I regret buying it, right? 샀어. 사다 means to buy. To buy. I shouldn't have bought this. 진짜 괜히 샀어. 돈 낭비야. 돈 낭비야. It's a waste of money. 이거 괜히 샀어. So you can notice that 괜히 is used with past verb. Past verb. Because it's used to express your regret of the action that you did in the past. 괜히 왔어. 괜히 말했어. 그 다음에 and the second, so that's why the answer is 괜히. 지수의 생일 파티에 괜히 갔어요. Like I regret going to like Jesus' birthday party. 그 다음에 moving on to the third one. So this grammar might feel a little new to many of you guys if you haven't reached like a certain level. So 집에서 좀 더 일찍 출발할 걸 그랬어요. So this 리을 받침 걸 그랬어요 is the expression that we're gonna learn. 파울라 씨, 밤에 과자를 괜히 먹었어요. Yes, that's the regret that everybody at once had. At least once, right? 밤에 과자를 괜히 먹었어요. 맞아요. 잠깐만요. Where were we? So this expression, guys, this expression. 할 걸 그랬어요. 할 걸 그랬어요. 할 걸 그랬어요. So, okay, so to translate this sentence, guys, in English, the most, like, the closest one would be I should have verbed. As in, you are expressing your regret not doing something. So I should have verbed, right? And it means like I did not do that, right? I did not do that and I regret it. I did not do that and I regret it. Verb, 할 걸 그랬어요. Verb, 할 걸 그랬어요. And the suffix here is 리을 받침, 을, 리을 받침 or 을. 걸 그랬어요. 을 걸 그랬어요. So for example, let's move on to the example sentences here, guys. 지수의 생일 파티에 괜히 갔어요. I regret going to Jesus' birthday party. And adding to that, you can say 그냥, just 그냥 집에 있을 걸 그랬어요. 집에 있을 걸 그랬어요. Can you guys try guessing what this means? 집에 있을 걸 그랬어요. 집에 있다. 그냥 집에 있다. Just stay home, right? 집에 있다. And then 을, you put 을 suffix since 있다 verb has 받침. 을 걸 그랬어요. 을 걸 그랬어요. 그냥 집에 있을 걸 그랬어요. I regret not staying home. As in like I should have stayed home. Right? So 지수의 생일 파티에 괜히 갔어요. I regret going to Jesus' birthday party. I should have just stayed home. Is basically what these sentences mean. 그냥 집에 있을 걸 그랬어요. I should have stayed home. There's definitely some like gap between me and you guys because maybe like there's a delay, a bit of lag in the stream, which is common. So 그 다음에 so yes, thank you guys for giving your translations. I should have stayed home. I just should have stayed home is the correct translation for 그냥 집에 있을 걸 그랬어요. 그 다음에 어제 영화를 괜히 봤어요. 괜히 봤어요. I regret watching the movie, right? 그 시간에 공부를 더 할 걸 그랬어요. 그 시간에. So I think you guys can translate you can kind of figure out what 그 시간에 would mean, right? That time. 근데 it can also be translated as instead in this sentence. Instead. So let's look at the remaining sentence first. 그 시간에 공부를 더 할 걸 그랬어요. 공부를 더 할 걸 그랬어요. So 공부하다, to study, right? To study. 공부하다 plus 리을 받침 걸 그랬어요. It's like I regret not studying more, right? Not studying more. So I should have studied more 그 시간에, at that time. So it means at that time of watching a movie, I should have studied more instead. So you can use like 그 시간에 like this. If you are regretting how you spent a certain time, you're regretting like I should have done this instead of doing that. You can say 그 시간에 그 시간에 공부를 더 할 걸 그랬어요. I should have studied more. I should have studied more instead. 그 다음에 지금 너무 졸려요. 지금 너무 졸려요. 지금 너무 졸려요. 여러분 졸리다 뜻 알아요? 졸리다. 졸리다. To be sleepy. To be sleepy. 아까 means like a little while ago. A little while ago. 아까. And the antonym would be 이따가. 이따가. Which means like a little later. A little later, and this is a little while ago. So 아까 earlier 커피를 마실 걸 그랬어요. 마시다, drink plus 마시다 리을 받침, 리을 받침, and then 걸 그랬어요. Like I regret not drinking coffee. So it's like I should have drunk coffee. 커피를 마실 걸 그랬어요. Because right now I'm too sleepy. 지금 너무 졸려요. 아까 커피를 마실 걸 그랬어요. 이런 식으로 쓰여요. 걸 그랬어요. 걸 그랬어요. 걸 그랬어요. 걸 그랬어요. regret. 그 다음에 and this is the opposite case from the sentence that we just learned. This sentence. 잠이 안 와요. 잠이 안 와요. 잠 means sleep, right? And 오다 means to come. So literally it means sleep doesn't come. So when you say 잠이 안 오다, it means like you can't fall asleep. You're having a hard time falling asleep. So 잠이 안 와요. 잠이 안 와요. I can't sleep. I can't fall asleep. 커피를 마시지 말 걸 그랬어요. 마시지 말 걸 그랬어요. What do you guys think this sentence means? 마시지 말 걸 그랬어요. Not 마실 걸 그랬어요. But 마시지 말 걸 그랬어요. 마시다 means to drink. And if you say 마시지 말다, 마시지 말다, it means to not drink. 마시지 말다. Actually, 마시지 않다 it means to not drink. But 마시지 말다 can also be used. In like certain expressions. 마시지 말다, 마시지 말다. So 마시지 말, and then you combine the stem with 걸 그랬어요, right? 걸 그랬어요. But irregular verb, there's an irregular verb, right? 말다 is a real ending verb. So it's also considered an irregular rule. So you cannot say 말을 걸 그랬어요. You can just delete the whole suffix together and just go with 말. So basically 말다 plus 리을 받침 or 을 suffix is just 말, not 말을, because it's a irregular verb. 그래서 마시지 말 걸 그랬어요. I shouldn't have drunk. Yes, you guys are giving me a correct translation. 커피를 마시지 말 걸 그랬어요. I shouldn't have drunk coffee. 잘했어요. 그 다음에 and the next sentence was the very sentence that was on the quiz, right? 집에서 좀 더 일찍 출발할 걸 그랬어요. 일찍 출발할 걸 그랬어요. 일찍 출발할 걸 그랬어요. 집에서 좀 더 일찍 출발하다. So 출발하다 means to depart. 출발하다 means to depart. 출발하다 means to depart. And the antonym, I think you guys have commonly seen this word definitely. 도착하다, to arrive. So, 칼라미티아님 마트에 갔을 때 수박 살 걸 그랬어요. Perfect sentence. So 출발하다 means to depart. 도착하다 means to arrive. So you are likely gonna see the word 출발 and 도착 on the sign of like train station or bus station or even like airport. So if you come to Korean airport, like Incheon airport or Gimpo airport, take a look at the sign and you'll find 출발 and 도착 on the sign. 잠깐만요. 어디 갔어? Moving on to quiz, right? So 출발할 걸 그랬어요 means I should have departed 좀 더 일찍, earlier. So it means I regret, right? Not departing from home earlier. So number A is the correct answer. 그 다음에 the next one is so what describes A's feeling the best based on the sentence below. 지수를 도와줬어야 했는데 그러지 못해서 너무 미안한 마음이 들어요. 지수를 도와줬어야 했는데 잠깐만요. 여러분 미안해요. I'm sorry. I almost skipped this part. So if you have taken the quiz in number 11 in the audio, the expression of regret, both 괜히 and 할 걸 그랬어요 is used. So let's try listening again. If you haven't taken the quiz, this is your chance to take to take a listen. So let's try transcribing before we already know the answer is regret, right? So let's try transcribing first what you hear. You can write it on your notebook or you can like type it on the chat section. So I'm gonna play right now.
아까 지수한테 괜히 전화했어요. 그냥 내일까지 기다릴 걸 그랬어요.
One more time.
아까 지수한테 괜히 전화했어요. 그냥 내일까지 기다릴 걸 그랬어요.
들었어요, 여러분? 다시 한번 들려드릴게요. Let me play it one more time.
아까 지수한테 괜히 전화했어요. 그냥 내일까지 기다릴 걸 그랬어요. 아까 지수한테 괜히 전화했어요. 그냥 내일까지 기다릴 걸 그랬어요.
들었어요, 여러분? 그랬어요. 조금 어려워요? 조금 어려워요? Paula, the first one to finish it. 아까 지수한테 괜히 전화했어요. 그냥 내일까지 기다릴 걸 그랬어요. Yes, guys. 맞아요. 아까 지수한테 you guys are giving me the answer, writing the answer. Thank you for the active participation, guys. 맞아요. So you can see that 괜히 expression is used. 괜히, it's pronounced 괜히, right? So this 히읗 bottom, this 히읗 pronunciation gets kind of muted because it's combined with 니은 받침, right? So it's pronounced like 괜히 전화했어요. 괜히 전화했어요. 그냥 내일까지 by tomorrow 기다리다 알죠, 여러분? 기다리다. To wait. 기다릴 걸 그랬어요. I regret not waiting by tomorrow. I should have waited by tomorrow. 그냥 내일까지 기다릴 걸 그랬어요. 그냥 내일까지 기다릴 걸 그랬어요. Okay. So it means I regret, 괜히 전화했어요. I regret calling Jisoo a little while ago, like earlier, 아까. 그냥 I should have just 내일까지 기다릴 걸 그랬어요. I should have just waited by tomorrow. So 아까 지수한테 괜히 전화했어요. I regret calling 지수 earlier. 그냥 내일까지 just till tomorrow, by tomorrow 기다릴 걸 그랬어요. Should have waited. That's what it means, 트리샤 씨. 맞아요. 오케이, 잘했어요, 여러분. 그 다음에 오케이. 여러분, so we just finished learning 할 걸 그랬어요. 할 걸 그랬어요. But there is more to be learned here. More to be learned here. So the expression that we just learned was 걸 그랬어요, right? 그랬어요. But this expression can also be used without 그랬어요. And in that case, this 걸 becomes a sentence ending. So you can end the sentence like this. But in this case, there's a slight difference. You have to attach 을 and 걸. So it should not be spaced if 걸 becomes an ending. So if there's no 그랬어요 and 걸 becomes an ending, you have to attach the suffix and 걸 without any space. So this is another spacing rule that just confuses the hell out of native speakers, including myself. But I just thought it would be worth it to mention. But of course, like nobody's gonna think you're like very, very stupid if you make this kind of mistake, because it's very common and it's also understandable why it's so confusing, but still it's much better to learn the correct form. So verb 을걸 can also mean I regret doing verb. The meaning is the same. The form, it's just the form that changes. So it also means I regret this. But another difference, guys, is that 이세계 식당님, 한국어 어렵죠 님들아. 이세계 식당님, I think he's probably like Korean and he's like saying Korean is difficult, right guys? 네, 이해해요. 다 이해해요, 여러분. 한국 오심 많이 들어요. 교과서 보는 거랑은 많이 달라서. 맞아요. 이세계 식당님 says if you actually come to Korea, your Korean will improve more. I actually agree with that. You have to, if you are in that environment where a lot of people, like all the people, uses the language, the target language, of course, you're more likely to improve like faster and get used to all the like sentence structure because you hear it all the time, right? But like, of course, you can also just study yourself even before coming to Korea. I think studying in advance yourself and then coming to Korea, that's really, really helpful rather than just waiting it out till a very uncertain day when you will come to Korea. I digressed a little bit. Let's move right back onto our track. So I regret verb ing. And another difference is that it can only be used in 반말, guys. 반말. So this 할 걸 그랬어요. This can be used in both 존댓말 and 반말. So you can use 그랬어 or 그랬어요. But this 걸 ending, guys, when it means regret, it can only be used in 반말, which means you cannot say 할 걸요, because when you're talking about like your own regret, this is more like an expression of kind of like talking to yourself, basically. Not always. You can use it with your friends. You can say this to your friends, but you cannot use it in 존댓말 because usually it's just for talking to yourself. Talking to yourself about your regret. So 그냥 집에 있을 걸. It means I should have just stayed home. So you're talking about your regret in 반말. 그냥 집에 있을 걸. 이거를 이렇게 써도 돼요. 그냥 집에 있을 걸 그랬어요. 그랬어. Since it's 반말. 이런 식으로 써도 되고요. 또 공부를 더 할 걸. You can guess what this means, right? 공부를 더 할 걸. I should have studied more. 하다 plus 리을 받침 걸. 할 걸. This is an easier version. So I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be that confusing. 그 다음에 커피 마실 걸. I should have drunk coffee. Like I regret not drinking coffee, right? 커피 마실 걸 그랬어. 다음에 커피 마시지 말 걸. 커피 마시지 말걸. We learn 마시지 말다 as a negation, right? 마시지 말다. So 마시지 말걸. Like, I shouldn't have drunk coffee. I regret drinking coffee in this case, right? I regret not drinking coffee. So it means I regret drinking coffee. So I should have not drunk coffee. 커피 마시지 말걸. 그 다음에 더 일찍 출발할 걸. 더 일찍 출발할 걸. So it means I should have departed a little earlier, right? A little earlier. 더 일찍 출발할 걸. So basically, these sentences are the abbreviated version of these previous sentences that we learned. These previous 5 sentences that we learned. We're just using an abbreviated form. 할 걸, right? 할 걸. 그 다음에 준비할 걸. 그리고요, it gets more interesting, guys. This 걸, we just learned, it means regret, and it's kind of like an abbreviated form of 할 걸 그랬어요, and it can only be used in 반말 because you're kind of talking to yourself when you're using this expression. But this 걸 ending has another meaning, guys. So this is probably the part where it gets trickier. So 걸 ending can also mean when you are guessing something or making a presumption. So when you're like stating something in an unsure way, so you're not 100% sure if that's the case, but it might probably be the case, or I'm assuming that might be the case. 할 걸. So if you say 엄마가 지금 집에 있을걸요. And one difference between when 걸 is regret and 걸 is guess or assumption is that, and when it's regret, it can only be used in 반말, guys, 반말. But when it's an ending that means guessing or presumption, it can be used in both 존댓말 and 반말. 존댓말 and 반말. So you can say 할 걸요 or 할 걸. Both are fine, guys. Both are fine. 그래서 여기서 엄마가 지금 집에 있을걸요? 엄마가 지금 집에 있을걸요? This means mom might be at home right now. 지금 엄마가 지금 집에 있을걸요? My mom might probably be at home right now. So I'll tell you how to distinguish when it means regret versus when it means guess or presumption. So you can just pay attention to the tone. So if you say 그냥 집에 있을걸, 그냥 집에 있을걸. So you have a lower pitch at the end, right? 그냥 집에 있을걸. It means regret. And when someone raises its tone, like when the pitch is kind of like it's in a higher pitch at the end, 엄마가 지금 집에 있을걸요? There was too much exaggeration, right? 있을걸요 would be enough. Not 있을걸요? 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 You can hear that higher pitch at the end, right? As if you're asking a question. I put the question marker for that reason. But this is not an actual question, guys. This is not a question. This is a statement. But I wanted to put the question marker here to let you guys know how you can pronounce it. 있을걸요? You raise the pitch at the end. 있을걸요? 있을걸요? Or 좋아할걸? 좋아할걸? 이해됐어요, 여러분? 그 다음에 엄마가 지금 집에 있을걸요? My mom might probably be at home right now. 그 다음에 지수는 커피를 안 좋아할걸? 안 좋아할걸? You guys can guess what this means, right? 안 좋아할걸? Coffee, not like. Assuming. So, 지수 probably doesn't like coffee. 지수는 커피를 안 좋아할걸? 지수는 커피를 안 좋아할걸? 그 다음에 지수는 지금 자고 있을걸요? 자고 있을걸요? This is a combination of 자고 있다 plus 을걸요? 있을걸요? 자고 있다, present progressive, right? Is sleeping, is sleeping. She is probably sleeping right now. 지수는 지금 자고 있을걸요? 자고 있을걸요? 그 다음에 오케이. 그 다음에 제프는 영국인이 아니라 미국인일걸? 미국인일걸? So I think you guys can guess by now, right? 이다 plus 리을 받침 걸. So this is a 이다 verb. 이다 verb. We learned 이다 verb, right? Noun plus 이다. To be noun. So 제프는 영국인이 아니라 영국인이랑 미국인. 영국 means UK, guys. UK. 미국 means US. So 영국인 would be UK person, so British, and 미국인 would be US person, so like American, US person. So 영국인이 아니라 not an American, not a British person, not British. 제프 not British, but 미국인일걸. She's probably American. 제프는 영국인이 아니라 미국인일걸. 그 다음에 this is also a very common expression, guys. 아닐걸요? 맞을걸요? 아닐걸요? 아니다. To not be true. 맞다. To be right. To be correct. So I think you guys can understand. You guys can guess what 아닐걸요 or 맞을걸요 would mean, right? I will repost this later. 아닐걸요? 아닐걸요? It means it's probably not true. It's probably, there's probably like a longer gap between you guys and me than I expected since I'm not seeing the answer. Okay, I'm saying it now. Persian prince name. Probably it's not true. This probably isn't true. 맞아요. 아닐걸요? So if you say 제프는 영국인이 아니라 미국인일걸? Jeff is probably not British, but he's probably American. And if you want to refute that, but you're not 100% sure either, you can respond with 아닐걸요? 영국인일걸요? 아닐걸요? Probably not. 영국인일걸요? She's probably British. 그 다음에 맞을걸요? That's probably right. 다음에 언니는 이미 도착했을걸. 그래서 을걸이 it can also be used with past verb, guys. Past verb. So you conjugate it in past tense and then put 을걸, and it's guessing what probably have happened in the past. 언니는 이미 도착했을걸. 우리 도착하다 배웠잖아요. 도착하다. To arrive. So 언니, my sister, 이미 도착했을걸. Have probably already arrived. 이런 식으로 쓰여요. 그리고 I forgot to mention, guys. This. So when you're using this expression of regret, 할 걸 그랬어, or 할 걸, the subject should be I, because you can only talk about your own regret for sure, right? You can only talk about your own regret for sure. So 할 걸 그랬어요 or 할 걸 can only be used when the subject is I. So you can only use it when you're talking about your own regret. Whereas when you use 할 걸 or 할 걸요 to mean like guessing or presuming and like stating something in an unsure way, you can, subject is usually the other people. Because like you don't have to make assumption about yourself, right? You don't have to make assumption about yourself. Because it's you already know. But when you're talking about other people and you're kind of making an assumption or presumption about like other people's action, then you can use it. 할 걸요. So you cannot say 저는 저는 고양이를 좋아할걸요? This would be a very weird sentence, right? 좋아할걸요? Because if you like cats, you like cats. You don't guess that you like cats, right? So you can just say 저는 고양이를 좋아해요. But if you're making an assumption about maybe your friend, 제 친구는 고양이를 좋아할걸요. My friend probably likes cat. 이런 식으로 쓰여요. 그 다음에 Okay, moving on, guys. Moving on. Wow, I can't believe it's already been 50 minutes since we started the class. 수업을 시작한 지 벌써 50분이 됐어요, 여러분. 자, 여기 적어드릴게요. Let me write in the check section. 수업을 시작한 지 벌써 50분이 넘었어요. You guys can understand this grammar, right? Ooh. How are you guys feeling? How are you guys catching up with the lesson? I know that there are like learners of very different levels. So to some of you, this lesson might feel slow. To some of you, this lesson might feel fast. I think like that's like the limit that YouTube lesson has, right? I cannot like cater to one individual's like pace. 그래서 조금 아쉽긴 한데 그래도 I'm still very thankful that you guys are following. We still have a lot to learn because I have prepared a lot. I actually shouldn't have brought like this many example sentences. Do you guys agree or not? Maybe we spent too much time on translating the example sentences that might not have been necessary. I don't know. And then let me drink some more water. Okay. 그러면요. 이제 다음 거로 넘어갈게요. 다음 문제로 넘어갈게요, 여러분. 여기다. 아직도 4번이야. We're still at number 4. 지수를 도와줬어야 했는데 그러지 못해서 너무 미안한 마음이 들어요. 지수를 도와줬어야 했는데 그러지 못해서 너무 미안한 마음이 들어요. 여기서 보면요. The focus of the sentence is on 했어야 했는데 여러분 그거 알죠? Do you know this expression? Verb. Of course you guys know. 잠깐만요. Let me open a blank note. If you say verb and conjugate it in present tense and then say 야하다. You guys know what this means, right? Verb 야하다. It means to have to, right? To have to. But the expression that we're going to learn looks like this. You conjugate the verb in past tense, and then past tense, and then and then you conjugate 하다 again in past tense. 했어요. And this means I should have. Something that you should have done in the past, but you didn't. And probably you guys are curious as to what the difference is between 썼어야 했다 and 할 걸 그랬다. Because both pretty much can be translated to I should have verb, right? I should have verb. But I'm gonna explain more about the difference as we learn. And thank you so much for the encouragement. Okay. Okay, 그다음 해볼게요. Let's move on to the example sentence of 했었어야 했다. 어제 공부를 더 많이 했어야 했어요. 어제 yesterday 공부를 study 많이 하다. 공부를 많이 하다, to study more, right? 더 많이 하다, to study more. And then it's conjugated in past tense, right? 했어야, 했어요. So it means I should have studied more yesterday. 어제 공부를 더 많이 했어야 했어요. I should have studied yesterday. So it could mean like you regret. Your regret of not doing something. I should have studied more, but you know, I didn't do it, so I regret it. I should have done it. 어제 공부를 더 많이 했었어야 했어요. 근데 this expression, guys, is not only limited to one's own regret. It can also be used to talk about. Okay, let me zoom it out a bit so that you can see it in full screen. It could also be about one's own or other persons, like you or third persons, like unfulfilled duty. So it's not this expression is not limited to regret, but it could also be it could also be used to talk about my own or other person's unfulfilled duty or unfulfilled like action that they didn't do. So unlike 할 걸 그랬어요, unlike 할 걸 그랬어요, we learned that 할 걸 그랬어요 can only be used when the subject is I, right? Which makes sense because you're talking about your own regret, right? But this 했어야 했다 can also be used to talk about other people as well. So the subject can not only be I, but also you or like the third person, like 지수, Jeff, Mom. So 어제 공부를 더 많이 했어야 했어요 is talking about your own unfulfilled duty or what you should have done. And 너는 오늘 일찍 일어났어야 했어. 너는 오늘 일찍 일어났어야 했어. 너, you, today, early, 일어나다. Conjugated in past tense. 일어났어야 했어. You should have woken up early. You. So this is talking about your unfulfilled duty, right? You should have done this. So it's not necessarily like you regret it, right? It's not saying you regret it, but based on my observation, that's what you should have done. You should have done this. 너는 오늘 일찍 일어났어야 했어. 이바나 씨, could you use 됐다? 일어났어야 됐어. 네네. 됐다도 괜찮아요. 네, 됐다도 괜찮아요. 해야 하다, 해야 되다. 해야 했다, 했어야 했다, 했어야 됐다. 됐다도 괜찮아요, 여러분. 됐다. But in this lesson, I'm just gonna stick to 했다, just to prevent the confusion that might happen. But that was a good question, Ivana 씨. 그 다음에 지수는 엄마한테 그 말을 하지 말았어야 했어. 지수는 뭐야 왜 이렇게 작아졌지? 지수는 엄마한테 그 말을 하지 말았어야 했어. 하지 말았어야 했어. 지 말다, negation, right? 지수 엄마한테 to mom 그 말을 하지 말았어야 했어. 말하다 means to say, talk, speak, tell, right? 말을 하지 말다, not, right? 말을 하지 말다, and it's conjugated in past tense, and also 했다 is conjugated in present tense, so it means she shouldn't have, right? 말한 shouldn't have said that, 그 말 said that to 엄마. 엄마한테 지수는 엄마한테 그 말을 하지 말았어야 했어요. 지수 should not have said that to her mom. 그 다음에 흰달리님 감사합니다. 응원 감사해요. 그 다음에 저녁을 먹었어야 했는데 너무 이세계 식당님 이세계 식당님이 he is very amazed at people who are like good at Korean or like maybe trying to learn Korean. 이세계 식당님 네. 아무튼 넘어갈게요. 저녁을 먹었어야 했는데 너무 바빠서 깜빡했어요. 저녁을 먹었어야 했는데 I 먹었어야 했다. By seeing this, oh, you can immediately notice, oh, this means should have, right? So I should have eaten dinner. 저녁을 먹었어야 했는데 I should have eaten dinner, but 너무 바빠서 I was too busy, so 깜빡했어요. 깜빡했어요. 여러분 혹시 깜빡했어요 뜻 알아요? Do you guys know the meaning of 깜빡하다? 깜빡하다 뜻 알아요? 깜빡하다. 혹시 모르면, just in case you don't know, this is an interesting word to know, guys, and also useful. 깜빡하다. 오, 알고 있는 사람들 있네. Forget. 맞아요. 그러면은, do you guys know the difference between like 깜빡하다 versus 까먹다 or 잊어버리다? So in English, all of these three can be translated to forget, but it has a little bit of a different nuance to it. So 깜빡하다 is closest in meaning to slip one's mind. So you forget something momentarily. It's not like something is like totally out of your head, but it just slipped your mind because maybe you were busy. 오해님, 깜빡하다. 둘 다 맞아요. I actually looked it up on the dictionary while I was preparing for this lesson. 깜빡하다, 깜빡하다. 둘 다 맞아요. 둘 다 맞고요. Both are correct. Both spelling are correct, but it's read 빡. It's read with 쌍비읍상. 깜빡하다. 깜빡하다. 그래서 and 까먹다 would mean like to forget something, as in like I forgot like the meaning of this word. I learned this word, but that meaning is not in my head. I forgot. Then you can say 까먹다. So for example, if you want to say like I forgot that today is my mom's birthday. Or like I forgot my mom's birthday. If you want to say like it slipped my mind, not like you don't remember the exact date, but it completely slipped my mind. You can say 엄마 생일인걸. 오늘이 엄마 생일인걸. 엄마 생일인걸 깜빡했어요. 깜빡했어요. 이런 식으로 쓸 수가 있어요. not 까먹었어요. If you say 엄마 생일을 까먹었어요, then you're a really, really bad child. But 깜빡했어요 would mean like to slip your mind. Not like you totally forgot mom's birthday date. Okay, 그 다음에 파울라님, 졸려서 잘 쓸 수 없어요. 잘 자요. 괜찮아요. You're in different time zone. So I want to ask you guys, where are you guys from? Where are you guys watching from? Like usually at this hour, there's more people in Asia, because in Asia, it's like probably like afternoon, right? But in like America or something like that, it's maybe like after way past midnight, I think. So I think a lot of people today are from Asian countries, Eastern countries. India, I see India. A lot of people are from India. Okay. Singapore. 체코 사람. 맞아요. 유럽도 지금 아침이죠? 유럽은 지금 아침이라서 좀 있을 수도 있겠다. 인도, 뉴욕이라고요? 와우, 이바나 씨. Thumbs up. 감사합니다. Thank you for staying up for my class. 진짜 감사합니다. Aloha. Wow, Hawaii, Oklahoma, 미국. Oh, I see some 미국, Taiwan, Lithuania, India, Madagascar. Wow. 대박이다. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys. Oh, so learners from all over the world. That's amazing. Okay, 좋아요. 오, 와, 더 힘이 나요, 여러분. I'm more energized now to know that a lot of you guys are watching from like many different countries. That's amazing. 좋아요. It's like a melting pot. 그래서 어쨌든 that's 깜빡했어요. 저녁을 먹었어야 했는데 I should have had dinner, but I was too busy, so 깜빡했어요. Like it slipped my mind that I had to eat dinner. 그 다음에 지수를 도와줬어야 했는데, so this is the exact sentence that is used in the quiz, right? 지수를 도와줬어야 했는데, 도와주다, we all know this word, to help, right? To help. 도와줬어야 했는데, I should have helped 지수를 도와줬어야 했는데, 그러지 못해서 미안한 마음이 들어요. 그러지 못했대요, 여러분. 이게 to break down 그러지 못해서, guys, it's a combination of 그러다 verb, 그러다 plus 지 못하다. 여러분, 지 못하다 알죠? 지 못하다. So if you can say 못 plus verb, but another way to say 못 plus verb, 못 means can't, right? You guys already know this. You can also say stem plus 지 못하다, right? Stem plus 지 못하다. So both basically mean can't, to be not able to. And 그러다 here, guys. 그러다 is a verb. It's an abbreviated verb of 그렇게 하다. To do like that. So here, I should have helped 지수, but 그러지 못해서 I couldn't do that. I couldn't do like that. So this 그러다 means to help in this sentence, right? But you use 그러다 verb instead of 도와주다 because you wanted to avoid repetition. Very similar thing happens in English language too, right? Like I like you and I like my mom and my mom does too. So that does mean like, right? But you avoid using to like because you want to avoid repetition, and this is kind of like that. We want to avoid repetition, so instead we use 그러다 verb. Trisha-님, are you seriously asking me where I'm from? Really? I thought everybody knew I'm from Korea. Like I live in Korea. Like I'm teaching my own native language. I'm from Korea, Trisha. 그 다음에 okay. And 흰달리님은 이집트. Oh, wow. So you must speak Arabic. 아랍어를 하시겠네요. 아랍어. Wow, that's interesting. I used to have a friend from Egypt. He was very funny. 그 다음에 so 그러지 못해서 but I couldn't do that. So 미안한 마음이 들어요. 여러분 혹시 마음이 들어요? Do you guys know this expression? 마음이 들어요? So 미안한 마음이 들어요 means I feel apologetic. Like I feel very like sorry. Like I should have helped Jisoo but I couldn't do that, so I feel sorry. And so you guys know what 미안하다 means. But I'm sure like 마음이 들어요 might be a little unfamiliar to you guys. And that is what we're going to learn in the next section, guys. Next section. 그 다음에 so 마음이 들다. So before we learn 마음이 들다 and also 마음에 들다, which was in the next question, I think we first have to go over what 들다 means, like the basic meaning it has. So 들다's first meaning, the first basic meaning is to raise and to lift something, like to physically lift something, to raise something. So 손을 들다, 손 means hand, so you guys definitely know what this means. 손을 들다, to raise one's hand. 손을 들다. So I can say, like when we're in like a physical class, you can say 질문 있으면 손을 들어요. 질문 있으면, if you have a question, 손을 들어요. Raise your hand. 손을 들어요. 그리고 고개를 들다. Means to lift one's head, to raise one's head. To raise one's head. And here some of you might be wondering, can we say 머리를 들다? 머리를 들다? 근데요, when we're talking about like head, as in like, so in English you guys say head, but 고개 is not like the actual head. 근데 고개가 정확히 무슨 뜻이지? 고개를 들다. 잠깐만요. Let me look it up. 잠깐만요, 여러분. What 고개 like exactly means. 고개. So 고개 doesn't mean like head literally. 그러니까 고개가 목의 뒷등이 되는 부분. The back of your neck. 고개 literally means the back of your neck. So in English, you guys say to raise your head, but we more say to raise our back of our neck. So that's where the difference comes from. So when we say to nod our head, to shake our head, to raise our head, we use 고개. 고개를 들다. 그 다음에 가방을 들다 is like to lift a bag, like to physically lift the bag with your hands. 가방을 들다. And 들다 also means to take time or to take money or effort. So 시간이 들다 would mean to take time. 그 다음에 돈이 들다 to take money. 노력이 들다 to take effort. 그래서 if you want to say like it takes a lot of time to like do a specific verb, you can use this expression, guys. Verb 는, the suffix is 는, guys. 는. Verb는 돼. Or you can omit 에. You can just omit 에 and just say verb는 돼. So it literally means in doing verb, it takes time. But in English, the natural translation would be takes time to verb. So 설거지하다, we learned this, right? 설거지하다, to wash dishes. So 설거지하는데 in washing dishes 시간이 많이 들어요. It takes a lot of time. 설거지하는데 시간이 많이 들어요. It takes a lot of time to wash the dishes. And 재료를 준비하는데 돈이 많이 들었어요. This time is past tense. 여러분 혹시 재료 알아요? 재료. We're learning a lot of words today. I hope you guys are able to remember. Actually, maybe it's a good idea to make a separate quiz based on all the vocabularies and grammar that we learned today. I think that would be a really good gift for all of you guys who are staying in this life together with me. Because I appreciate your hard work studying the language. So 재료 means it first means materials. So it could mean ingredients for cooking. Ingredients. So 재료를 준비하다, to prepare ingredients. 재료를 준비하는데. So in preparing ingredients, to prepare ingredients, 재료 준비하는데 돈이, money, right? 돈이 많이 들었어요. It took a lot of money to prepare all the ingredients. 재료 준비하는데 돈이 많이 들었어요. 그리고 the next sentence is absolutely true. 외국어를 배우는데 노력이 많이 들 거예요, 여러분. We all know this. 외국어 outside country language, so foreign language, right? 외국어, foreign language를 배우는데, to learn a foreign language, in learning a foreign language, 배우다 to learn, right? 노력이, effort, 노력이 a lot 들 거예요. So obviously, 들 거예요 is the future tense of 들다, right? We learned that when 들 is combined with the future conjugation, it just stays 들, not 들을, right? Because it's a real ending irregular verb. So you can just say 들 거예요. It will take a lot of effort to 배우는데, learn a foreign language, 외국어. 외국어를 배우는데 노력이 많이 들 거예요. 그 다음에 와, 진짜 많아요, 여러분. The list goes on from number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there's more, of course. I only brought 7 of them. 진짜 많죠, 여러분. But hang in there, hang in there. 다음에 so 들다 has those two basic meaning, to take time or like to raise, to lift. And it can also be used in various expressions. 오웬 크레이키 맙소사. Yes, exactly. 맙소사. 네, 진짜 맙소사예요. 진짜 OMG예요. 그래도 if you like understand understand how this word makes sense, it really wouldn't be that difficult to remember these words. So don't worry too much, guys. Don't worry too much. 그리고 이제 마음에 들다를 배울 건데요. 마음에 들다 literally means to come into, or like to be accepted into one's mind. Literally, that's the literal meaning. And so 마음에 들다 extends to the meaning of to like something or even somebody. And here the tricky part is that in English, when you say to like something or somebody, this something or somebody is the object in a sentence, right? But in Korean, it doesn't work that way. Something and somebody is considered a subject. And then you say, so you have to mark it with subject marker and then say 마음에 들다. And it makes sense because literally it means for something or somebody to come into one's mind, right? If you look at the literal meaning, it makes sense why subject marker should be put. So if you say something 이 마음에 들다 or somebody가 마음에 들다, it means to like something. Maybe not necessarily like romantically. It could be like I like that person, like as a friend, I like her personality, stuff like that. You can use 마음에 들다. So 이 가방이 마음에 들어요. This bag 마음에 들어요. I like it. This bag comes into my mind. So it's like I like this bag. 그 사람이 마음에 들어요. 그 사람이 마음에 들어요. I like that person. 그 사람이 마음에 들어요. 그리고 힌트 알리씨, we can use 걸리다 instead of 들다. 맞아요. with 시간 to mean take. 맞아요. 걸리다도 맞아요. 그 다음에 엄마가 만든 김치찌개가 마음에 들어요. This is the very sentence that This is the very sentence that I used in this quiz. I really like the kimchi stew that my mom made. 엄마가 만든 김치찌개 has to be marked with subject marker, so it's either B or C, right? And to like is 마음에 들다. Not 마음이 들다. 마음이 들다 has a different meaning, so it should be number B. 김치찌개가 마음에 들어요. I really like the kimchi stew that my mom made. 엄마가 만든 김치찌개. 그 다음에 okay, so that's 마음에 들다. And the next one is 마음이 들다. So this is the very sentence that is used. 마음이 들다. This is the very sentence that is used. 어디 갔어? In this sentence, 지수를 도와줬어야 했는데 그러지 못해서 미안한 마음이 들어요. Right? 마음이 들어요 was used here. So what does this mean? Exactly. 마음이 들다. DJ님. Oh, wow. Studying Korean. Air Force. Wow, that's so cool. Oh, wow. That's really cool. I'm really happy to be of help. DJ... sorry. I suck at reading people's names. I'll just go with DJ. DJ님 정말 감사합니다. I wish you good luck on your study. So 마음에 들다 literally means for... so we just learned that 마음 means like mind, or it could be like heart, or it could be like your feeling. So basically something that happens inside you. Mind, heart, feeling, whatever, right? So 마음이 들다 means like for a feeling to like arise. 마음이 들다, for feeling to arise. So it could just be translated simply to feel. And if you want to say specifically what kind of feelings you feel, you can use adjective or verb. with a modifier form. I'm pretty sure if you're at this level, you have already learned the verb and adjective modifier form, right? So I won't explain that further. So if you want to say like adjective kind of feeling, you can use adjective, 니은 받침은 마음이 들다. Or if you want to say verb kind of mind, you can say verb는 마음 using verb modifier. So let's look at the next sentence, example sentences. If you say 지수한테 미안한 마음이 들어요. 미안한 마음이 들어요. It means like a feeling of being sorry arises. So it's like I feel sorry, like I feel very apologetic to Jisoo. 미안한 마음이 들어요. And since like 미안하다 is an adjective, right? It's an adjective. It follows the adjective's modifier form. 미안한. I was trying to go for blue. 미안한 마음. 그렇게 하면 되고요. 그리고 이것도 우리 가족한테 고마운 마음이 들어요. 우리 가족한테 고마운 마음이 들어요. 고마운 마음. 여러분 고맙다 알죠? 고맙다. You guys know 고맙습니다, 고마워요, right? To be thankful. So 고맙다 is an adjective that means to be thankful. To be thankful. And we also learned how to conjugate 비읍 ending adjectives or verbs, right? Conjugate it and make it into modifier form. But when we want to make it into modifier form, we delete 비읍 받침, right? This 비읍 from the stem, and instead of 은, we use 운, right? So that's where 고마운 comes from. So 고마운 마음 would be like thankful feeling, thankful feeling. 고마운 마음이 들어요. I feel thankful feeling to my family. So I feel thankful towards my family. 이바나 씨 맞아요. 그 다음에 thank you, May 씨. May 씨. 그 다음에 May 노콘 씨. 그 다음에 후회하는 마음이 들어요. 후회하는 마음이 들어요. 후회하는 마음이 들어요. So 후회하다 is an adjective that means to regret. 후회하다 is an adjective, not an adjective. It's a verb that means to regret. To regret. So the verb's modifier form is used. So 후회하는 마음 would be regretful feeling, right? Regretful feeling. 후회하는 마음이 들어요. I feel very regretful. 그리고 여러분, maybe this sentence represents a lot of you guys' feeling. Could you see if that's true? But there's a twist at the end. There's a twist at the end. So this is one sentence, guys. 잠깐만요. Let me make it smaller to fit on the screen. So 한국어가 너무 어려워서 여기까지는 이해됐죠, 여러분? You can understand till here, right? 한국어가 너무 어려워서 Korean is too difficult. Korean is too difficult. So 포기하고 싶은 마음이 든대요. 포기하고 싶은 마음이 들지만. So here's a quiz, guys. What kind of feeling arises to the speaker or to the writer? 포기하고 싶은 마음이래요, 여러분. 포기하고 싶은 마음. 포기하다. If you know what 포기하다 means, it's not that difficult to understand. 포기하다. 포기하다가 give up 이란 뜻이에요. give up. To give up. 그리고 if you say 포기하고 싶다, right? 포기하고 싶다, it means to want to. 고 싶다, right? To want to give up. 포기하고 싶다. 하고 싶다. 맞아요. 여러분, thank you for giving your answer. give up 맞아요. 그리고 if you look at it here, the verb's modifier, not the verb's modifier, but the adjective's modifier is used, right? 은. But 고 싶다 means to want to. So shouldn't it be 는 using verb's modifier form? But even if in English it translates to want to, which is a verb, in Korean grammar, 고 싶다 is usually considered an adjective, guys. 고 싶다, this verb. is considered an adjective. So you have to mark it with, so the adjective's modifier form has to be followed. 싶은, right? Adjective's modifier form, either 니은 받침 or 은. And since 십 has 받침, you have to say 싶은. 포기하고 싶은 마음이 들지만, so feelings arises where I want to give up. So it means like I feel like I want to give up. I feel like I want to give up, but 들지만, but there's a twist. 계속 갈 거예요. 맞아요. 루파님, perfect translation. 맞아요. 루파님, 맞아요. 계속 갈 거예요. If you say 계속 is also an adverb, guys. If you use 계속 plus verb, it means to continue to verb. So 하다 means to do, right? 하다 means to do. So 할 거예요, will do, right? Will do. I will continue to do it. So do as in like study. Do as in like study. 계속 할 거예요. 계속 공부할 거예요. So 맞아요. 한국어가 너무 어려워서 Korean is too difficult. So 포기하고 싶은 마음이 들지만 I feel like I want to give up. But 계속 갈 거예요. Like I will keep going. I will keep going. 계속 갈 거예요. 오케이, 잘했어요. 그 다음에 그래서 잠깐만요. 마음이 들어요. 이거 다 했고 그 다음에 이제 나이가 들다거든요. 나이가 들다. So when you use 들다 with 나이 as a subject, it means to age, as in like to get older. 나이가 들다. And there are other expressions that you can use for to age. First one being 나이가 많아지다. If you break this down, do you guys remember, actually I'm not sure if I mentioned this in like on one of my videos, but if you conjugate adjective in present tense and then put 치다, do you remember what this means? Adjective, conjugate, it only works with adjective, guys. So you conjugate adjective in present tense and put 치다. It means like to become more adjective, or like to get more adjective. To become more adjective, to get more adjective. 치다. 그래서 많다 means to be many, right? 많다 means to be many. I see a lot of you guys don't know this expression. 그래서 let me briefly mention, briefly like make some example sentences. So if you want to say like 지수 has like become smarter, you can say smarter. 지수가 똑똑하다 means to be smart, right? To be smart. And if you conjugate 똑똑하다, it's 똑똑해, right? 똑똑해 졌어요. 똑똑해. 잠깐만요. Let's write the base form first. 해치다 means to become smarter. And you want to say she became smarter. So you have to conjugate it in past tense. So this is the verb, guys. This is the verb stem. So what you can do is you can conjugate 해치 in past tense, which is 졌, right? 졌. So 똑똑해 졌어요 would mean 지수 has gotten smarter. 지수가 똑똑해졌어요. 맞아요. 날씨가 추워졌어. 아리샤 씨. 맞아요. Actually in Korea, 한국 날씨가 좀 이제 추워졌어요. So it's not like cold, but it's getting chillier. 한국에도 날씨가 좀 추워지고 있어요. It's getting like chillier. So that's what 지다 means. So I think you guys can guess like what 많아지다 would mean, right? 많다 conjugated in present tense. 많아지다. 많다 means to be many. So 많아지다 means like for there to be more, to become more, right? 그러니까 나이가 많아지다. For age to become more. So you can use like this use this word to mean to age. 나이가 많아지다. 그리고 this expression might come across a little weird, right? Because it literally means to eat one's age. 나이를 먹다. To eat one's age. But we do use it like this. This is a common expression that we use for to age, guys. 나이를 먹다. 나이를 먹다. 그래서 나이가 들다, 나이가 먹다, 나이가 많아지다 all mean to age, but there is no such thing as 나이가 되다. 나이가 되다. 이게 I actually put this 나이가 되다 on purpose because I thought some of you might relate this with to become of age, right? To become of age, which means to become a legal adult, to become of age. But we have a different expression for this particular verb, to become of age, to become a legal adult. You can say 어른이 되다. 어른이 되다. So 어른 means adult. So literally, to become an adult. 어른이 되다. Or a more, I guess, proper way of saying it would be 성인이 되다. 성인. 이게 성인이 사실 it has two meanings. One is saint, religiously. It's used religiously to mean saint. And second one is adult, as in legal adult. Legal adult. 그래서 to become of age, we usually say 성인이 되다. 성인이 되다. 성인이 되다. 오케이, 그 다음에 와, 근데 이게 I honestly didn't expect this lesson to be this long. 근데 because we still have a lot to learn. 할수록 하다. 잠깐만요. 이거는 이거 어떻게 하면 좋냐? 이거 다 해야 되나 오늘? 그러면 여러분 이렇게 할게요. Let's do this, guys. So I think we're gonna not end here, or we're gonna continue, but I think it would be better if we cover till here, till this part. And from this grammar, guys, 절대, as in never, and how to say nothing, nobody, I think I'm gonna cover it in a separate class, right? Separate class. Actually, I was going to make this in a separate class because actually to explain nothing or nobody, I also have to explain anybody and anything. So I think that would be better to do these two grammar points in separate lessons. 그 다음에 So I think we can finish till this part. So we're not done yet, guys. We're not done yet. I still have energy, guys. Are you tired? Well, my throat may be tired. My throat may be a little tired, but it's okay. We have just a little more to go till we finish this lesson. 그래서 okay, don't worry about me, guys. Don't worry about me. 그래서 let's look at this expression. The older you get, the wiser you become. So this is a very important expression or grammar to learn, guys. Verb or adjective 을수록. Another verb or adjective 하다. Or actually not 하다. Sorry. Or adjective 하다. The verb doesn't necessarily have to end in 하다, so this is my mistake, but you get the point, right? The more you verb or the more you adjective, the more you verb, another verb, or the more you adjective. So in this sentence, guys, in this sentence, 나이를 먹다, the verb 나이를 먹다 is used, which we learn means to age, right? 나이를 먹을수록, 나이를 and then you put 을 suffix, right? 먹을수록, the older you get, so the more age you eat, so the older you get, 현명해져요. This is the grammar that we learned just earlier, guys, just earlier. 현명해지다, 기억나요? If you know 현명하다, and if you remember 아어치다 verb, that we just learned earlier in this sentence. 현명하다, 현명해지다. 현명하다 means like to be wise or to be sensible. To be wise or to be sensible. So just like we learned, if we conjugate 현명하다 in present tense, 현명해지다 is a verb that means to become wiser, right? Get more wiser, to get wiser. So this literally means the more age you eat, so the more you age, the wiser you get. And you can also say 나이가 들수록. And this 들다 verb we learned is an irregular verb. So when it's combined with 들을, you don't have to say 들을, you can say 들수록 현명해져요. 그 다음에 엄마는 나이가 들수록 예뻐져요. You guys can like guess what this means, right? 나이가 들수록, we just learned this expression. The more my mom ages, 엄마는 나이가 들수록 예뻐져요. 예쁘다 means to be pretty, right? To be pretty. And then you conjugate it in present tense. 예뻐. And then 붙이다, it means to become pretty, like to be more beautiful. So 예뻐져요, she gets prettier. 맞아요, 이바나 씨, the prettier she gets. 여러분 저 괜찮아요? 네, 괜찮아요. 왜냐면 because we only have like just a few expressions left. 그 다음에 한국어는 이거. Okay, so I want to ask you guys, which one do you think it's true in this sentence? Do you think it's 어려워져요 or 쉬워져요? So the answer might be subjective to this one. So first, to choose the answer, like choose which one you think is correct, you first have to understand this sentence, which you can because we just learned the grammar point. Which one do you think is true? 한국어는 공부할수록 어려워질까요? 아니면 쉬워질까요? 어려워져요. Number 2, 쉬워져요. Okay, so half and half. Half. First, easier it gets. 제 생각에는요, I think maybe like personally for me it's both, right? It's both. Because obviously like the higher level you get, the more difficult grammar you get to learn. But at the same time, the more you study Korean, the more you get used to like the sentence structure of Korean language, right? So in that way, it could get easier to a certain extent, right? So like when you reach a certain level, you can just skip some parts of grammatical explanation because this is something that, you got the pattern. Okay, I got the hang of it. Okay, this is how it works because it worked in another grammar expression that I learned, right? So in that way, it could get easier in a sense that you get the hang of it. You get the hang of how to like navigate this and how to use this grammar. But at the same time, the level itself gets harder, of course. 그래서 I think both. 맞아요. Both 어려워져요 and 쉬워져요. 그 다음에 습관이 그 다음에 there are only 2 more expressions that are brought for 들다. 습관이 들다. 여러분 습관이 habit이란 뜻이에요. It means habit and it could be good habit or it could be bad habit. So I want to stress that 습관 is not necessarily limited to bad habits. It could also be good habits. So 습관이 들다 literally means for a habit to be formed. For a habit to be formed. But in English, like it's more natural to say like I made a habit of doing something. So I brought this as a translation, but it literally means for a habit to be formed. 습관이 들다. 그래서 if you want to say 습관이 들었어요. So what kind of habit did you make? 일찍 자고 일찍 일어나는 습관이 들었어요. 일찍 자고. Early sleep, and early, wake up, right? The early, you sleep early and you wake up early. 는 습관, verb modifier, right? So the habit of sleeping early and waking up early 들었어요. I made that habit. That habit was formed. 습관이 들었어요. 이런 식으로 쓰여요, 여러분. 습관이 들었어요. 그 다음에 잠이 들다. The last one, guys. 잠이 들다. 잠이 들다. 이게요. It's likely, people are likely to say 잠에 들다 because when you say to fall asleep, you're likely to come up with the word to fall into sleep, right? To fall into sleep. But this is actually grammatically wrong, guys. 잠에 들다 is not the correct expression. You have to say 잠이 들다 to mean to fall asleep. 잠이 들다. 잠이 들다. 그래서 오늘 너무 피곤해서 today, like I'm like too sleepy. 오늘 너무 피곤해서 I'm like too tired. So 일찍 early 잠이 들었어요. I fell asleep early. 그런 뜻이에요. 오늘 너무 피곤해서 일찍 잠이 들었어요. 여러분 저도 오늘 아마 일찍 잠이 들 것 같아요. 저도 일찍 잠이 들 것 같아요. 저도 오늘 일찍 잠이 들 것 같아요. I wrote it in the chat section. I think I will also fall asleep early today. 오케이, 그러면요. 오케이, 여기까지 it took almost like 2 hours to go from question number 1 to question number 6, right? Question number 6. So like I said, guys, for 전혀 절대, like how to say never, 전혀 절대, and how to say nothing, nobody, anybody, and anything, I will make a separate lesson for this. Actually, these are the grammar that deserves separate lesson because it could get tricky. 그래서 네, I will do that, and I will also try to make a quiz based on every single like grammar words that we learned in the quiz. So to do that, I also have to make review note, right? It could take a while. I think it would take like a few days, but please bear with me. And thank you so much, guys, for joining. And 정말 감사합니다, 여러분. 그리고 when will my next live stream be? I wish I knew. But I'm trying to stick to like one lesson a week, which I don't think I'm doing a really good job right now. But I try my best to make one class a week. So maybe it would be next weekend. Maybe. Okay. Yes, I drank water. And thank you so much, guys, for joining. And this is it for the class. And 머리를 많이 써서 피곤해졌어요. 오엔씨, 머리를 많이 써서 피곤해졌어요. 저도요. 저는 오늘 맛있는 거 먹고 저녁으로 맛있는 거 먹고 for dinner I will have something yummy and 좀 쉬고 잘 것 같아요. I'll take a rest and maybe I'll just sleep. So thank you very much, guys, and see you in the next class. Bye bye. Please upload the PDF. I will do. Bye bye.